Hi fellow 90k acres and welcome back to the channel. So I made 5 theory builds on this soldier, and I know some of you might like it and some of you may not. But I'm sure most of you will like this builds. But bear in mind that we're not finalizing anything here, okay? I'm just giving you my best opinion as best I could. So, I'm going to start the video with this soldier, the Crossbowman, and this 2-hero Liu Bei and Liu Chong. So the Crossbowmen are one of the most dangerous bowmen in the game, due to their low skill cooldown and their unique skill, the rapid fire. At level 6, it deals 100% damage on its first shot and additional 100% damage afterwards. And as for our heroes, we have Liu Chong with precision skill. It has 50% chance of shooting 1 more arrow up to 10 arrows per turn. And for Liu Bei, we have the benevolent skill. And instead of rapid fire, it heals allies by 10 to 20% of their max HP for the ally with the lowest HP. So we have 1, a healer, and 2, a damage dealer, which is really great combination to have for a heroes. So with that, let's go to our first build and let's go straight to the standard tank killer build, which I'm sure that everyone would love to play this build. So we have crit blade, mace, and dual axe for our exclusive stats to have. Then we have the leech sword, or golden axe for our smelt item. By the way, this is my standard build for tank killer in this soldier. This is because bowman has low HP and they're very vulnerable to return damage, even if that damage is only 4 or 5 damage. You may think it's low, but in the long run, your bowman without heal or shield will gradually die from return damage. So that's the logic as to why I add the leech or golden axe with this build to protect the bowman from return damage. That said, you can use this build to dig tiles. I've seen my comrades do it, but without the leech sword or golden axe. But if you're also wondering if it's also good for farming hell too, then have a look in my playlists and see it for yourself. So that's it for our standard tank killer build, and next on the list is the standard build 1. In this build we have the mace, crit blade, dual axe, and meteor hammer as our smelt item, or you can smelt the hook sword as most players do to maximize their damage to enemy tanks and alike. Although this build is really good, but it's vulnerable to enemy tanks that hasn't returned damage, because this build doesn't have the leech knife or the goldy axe. So that's for this build. Next we have the standard build 2. In this build we have the dual axe, crit knife, maze, and the crescent blade as our smelt item. This build is crazy strong, no doubt about it, but also a very glass cannon build because of the crescent blade. It says here, damage taken is increased by 100%. So, I'm unsure if it's worth it using the crescent blade on this exclusive item, but maybe instead of the crescent blade, why not use darts? This way, you avoid getting one-shotted by the enemy longbowman or getting wiped by a single charge from the enemy heavy cavalry. So that's it for this build. And now we are down with our 2 final builds, and this last 2 build is very interesting. So our second to the last build, we have the variation build 1. So in this build, we have the dual axe, crit blade, and the flying guillotine for our exclusive item's main stats. And for our smelt item, we have the Qiankun saber. This item is good for dispersing enemies who is stacked together, and/or in an overcrowded battle. So the idea behind this build is to try to finish the fight quickly as possible. That's why the Qiankun saber is installed. So that's it for this build. Now for our final build, the variation 2, we have the dual axe, crit blade, flying guillotine, and for our smelt item, we are going to smelt it with hourglass. So the idea of this build is to unleash your skill every turn, or for every 2 turns. That's the purpose of our hourglass smelted to our exclusive item. So that's it for our video. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next video.